can't just get up and go home and go to work the next day. He is contractually obligated to be at the place of work, which is an overseas jurisdiction. He was stationed doing the company's work, and he is entitled to his break. The court ordered that the company must pay the wife. Let me tell you, one research yourselves. I don't remember, I think it was an American guy, I know he was in France. I don't remember the whole details, but check it. So once you are under the company, doing the company's business, the company's liable. So just so that you know, companies don't wiggle out of their responsibilities, right? And I'll give you another one very quickly. Pret-a-manger, right? This one's easy. Pret-a-manger, this was about maybe 4 or 5 years ago. Pret-a-manger had a freezer that was, the freezer door was faulty. And Pret-a-manger knew that the freezer door was faulty, but they chose to do nothing. It so happened that an employee went into the freezer in must be shorts because it was summertime, and the employee got locked in the freezer for 2 hours. Colleague didn't see the employee, they go, hey, what? Last time he said he was going to the freezer, when I go, she was stuck in the freezer. She was frostbite and required hospitalization. The health and safety executive landed Pret-a-manger with a substantial fine of £800,000. It wouldn't cost Pret-a-manger $10,000 to fix the freezer door. Instead of that you, the employer, is responsible for the welfare of your employees. If you know that the thing is defective, why are you putting them in danger? Your multinationals must not put their staff in danger. BP is the same thing. That BP provides an oil spill. Look, read about it. BP was negligent. Positive there 11 people died because BP was busy cutting corners that they knew it was not safe to do so. But they did it anyway. And people died. Right? So, one of the things, for example, of organizations that are doing things which putting their employees at risk and all the things that they really don't need to do, they don't just want to say to leader about and use it. So multinationals must not put their employees at risk. Factors that influence effectiveness of your international assignments. Well, this says here what? Open environment, supporting place for cross-fertilization of ideas and implementation of best practice. Open environment, support in place for cross-fertilization of ideas and implementation of best practice. Organizations which are open tend to get the best out of their employees. There is one thing which I would encourage you to listen to. It's called BBC. If you type on your devices, BBC, the bottom line, and chaos management, see the bottom line, chaos management. That's a podcast that will probably not maybe 30 minutes. In that podcast, what Mr. Man talks about is an organization that is not restricted by rules and structure. In Mr. Man's organization, Hackmill, that's Simon something, CEO of Hackmill. What he said, this is the bottom line, chaos management. And listen to that. There's a guy, I see a CEO, a professor from UC, and the guy from Hackmill. What I talk about is that the organization without rules tend to foster greater commitment from the staff because they are highly collaborative with each other and they find that the staff comes up with the best ideas when you leave them alone. It's not me telling you anything. Don't listen to it. It will open your eyes and your mind to recognize that in 2026, you have organizations that you can work in that are not hindering you and saying, sit down here, do this, do that. Not all organizations are like that. And some organizations recognize the importance of allowing their employees to have just about anything they can do. It fosters greater productivity and output. And when you take the employees from that environment and you put them in a straight jacket and tell them, here are the rules, this is what you do. Research says that most of them go through the door because they don't want to be busted. Interesting, right? There are many different perspectives. My job is not to come in here and read your slides. My job is to educate you so that you are aware of the different perspectives. So when you write your assessments, you are writing them from the point of view that, so, if they consider this, this, this. Right? After that, we go to the of your intellectual assignments. Your knowledge info travels freely between expat and correspondent on parent country. Some knowledge transfer may require you to stay longer, right? And you might have the transfer of knowledge coming through far more effectively. Expats are the motivated after agent of knowledge transfer. In some cases, missing. Sometimes when you bring people in over somebody else, there is resentment. So you bring in an expat, right? And I have been with the company very long, and you bring an expat over my head, and I report to the expat, and I have to tell the expat exactly how things work. That will serve as a demotivator to your local staff. Some of your theories, including but not limited to motivation, leadership, and other theories might be connected to this. Theories and models application like this. You are supposed to show the connectivity. You must write the assessment without that motivation and leadership or facts. your assessment. You understand the connection between the field and what you are writing. How it affects the world. All right. Next. What is an expat? Well, an employee who's working and temporarily residing in a foreign country. Sometimes prefer to use the term international assignments. Expats are PCNs from the parent country operations. Third country nationals transferred as a HQ or a subsidiary, and post country nationals transferred to parent country. So we just have the movement. That movement between these, like parent company head office, moving them between subsidiary A and subsidiary B. And the movement of your staff between them, between all three of them. So basically moving the perfect staff. Whichever way you're moving, you can transfer the staff one way or another. Right? So it's across borders, usually, and we are called upon to serve in usually another jurisdiction, third country, or another country that is not related to our nationality. The role of the expat is, as it says here, agents of direct control. Multinational corporations like to believe that they're standardizing their approaches, and they like to believe that what we do, we know what we do better than anybody else. And as such, we need to exert a certain degree of control to make sure that we have the desired results that we want. Right? Agents of socialization, building networks, and of course your boundary standards. Expat home location and foreign location. We are going between them both. Right? Expats wherever you need an expat. If there is a vacancy that needs filling, you fill it. Something called strategic human resource management or human resource planning, where the organization really strategizes what its needs are and where they are likely to use the staff. And as a result, they will move them around based on their projections, anticipation, or just their forward planning. So traveling internationally, yet are not considered expats. You don't necessarily relocate to other countries. This is non-expats. No warriors, who travel extensively on business. And these are the persons usually, if they have no family, no children, are unmarried, then you want somebody, the best person, somebody who does not have no children, even no boys. If they have family or they're married, then it's a different level of thing. Most overseas travel is required if you are going to talk about taking your staff from one place to the other. Travel for recruiting and transferring your impact managers. These are your new service. Impact manager is the relocation of foreign employees to parent company. It's a citizen of a foreign country working in the whole country. It's an expat of impact. It's if you're bringing somebody from a third jurisdiction to work in the head office. Right? So the reasons for impact, well, you want to maybe create a level playing field, standardizing the approach, desire to create global core competency and cultural diversity. By the way, you should be aware of a couple of things. Diversity, equality, and inclusion changes being made, especially in the United States. and the requirements of the United States government to get rid of DEI initiatives. If you are doing a multinational corporation such as Rolls-Royce or even Barclays, I would strongly suggest to you that you go and search for the impact that the change of policy by the United States government has on Rolls-Royce and on Barclays. Because I am sure I have read it somewhere that Barclays has stripped out its stuff for its senior managers in the United States. I'm going to hear based on the knowledge of the law that federal tax so much of the United States you should also be aware of the impact that the renewal of the CPI will stuff according to the Trump administration, where you are making excellent sanctions and you're creating inequality by discriminating against the majority white population. Diversity, quality, and inclusion. Right? So in other words, you're trying to promote equal opportunities for the advancement of all your staff within the organization. And whether those staff members are coming from another country into the United States or moving from a third country into the home country, then according to the changes that we make, you wouldn't necessarily be encouraging that kind of movement. So it has implications. Bearing in mind that that is what we contrary to UN SDG number 5, which talks about equality. Has implications, right? So that is what it is to do that. But there's lots of changes in the United States since Trump has come back to office, and a lot of those changes may very well be impacting multinational across the wider world, not just in the United States. Companies or institutions that refuse to yield to the president's demands have to pay a very steep price because of the consequences of the action. So we can read up more about it, right? Reasons for impact: desire to provide career opportunities, which is a good thing, and emergence of developing markets, which often are difficult locations for expats. You bring somebody and get them trained up, and then you send them back. The learning outcomes: how issues related to their support staffing and international policies, operations, and planning. What I would suggest that you do is to, especially in light of the changes which have been made in the US, I would suggest to you that you need to read up about how some of these changes are impacting the multinational corporations and how they place their staff in overseas jurisdictions. I also am aware that you have some organizations that are resisting the call to strip away their diversity, equality, and inclusion needs. This is one of those that affect your multinational and their strategy, right? These are real issues, and if you write your assessment and ignore some of these things, that your lecturers might believe you are not widely read enough. because these are issues which are right here that you have to address. Alright? So, does anyone have any questions for questions are taken if not? And you are free as birds disappear. Just remember, you should read widely about your industry and company you have chosen or multinational that you have chosen. Please make sure that you look at the dashboard to see what they are doing in terms of their staff and how it is connected, if it is connected any at all, with your SDGs. Alright? Have you signed already? As long as you sign the name, it's fine.
Is there any criteria for choosing the company or just choose from that list?
No, I'm not aware of the limitations of what you have to do. I'm not sure. It doesn't be one. It's just one. Same paper. If your name is not there, then write your name at the bottom and put your ID. Right? I don't want to advise of which company are on. I don't know if you have a list of companies that say you have to choose from this list, or you can choose anyone you want. I do not know. But if you do have a list that you have to choose from, I would suggest that you look at their sustainability report. Because the sustainability report will tell you how the business is aligning itself with the UN SDGs. It will also reveal to you what the organization is doing insofar as its staffing is concerned. That's what you are looking for. Right? So all the multinationals that you have on the list, if I were you, I would not just choose one for choosing one sake. I would go through the list to determine which one will be most appropriate or the best example to use, because you have all this information concerning their policies, etc.
That's why I am asking, how do we
That's what I said. You have no choice but you have to go through them. You have no choice. You don't have to read. So you look at the audited financial statements. Look at the dashboard. Last semester you all did your international finance. You all had to read the audited financial statements. If you did the work on your own, you would have read the audited financial statements. You would have seen your director's report and the dashboard, right, where they tell you about the performance of the business over the period under review. The dashboard will tell you, because a lot of these companies, they have a sustainability report, and you will be able to tell what they have done relative to the UN SDGs, right? If there is a connection between the strategy of the organization and the SDGs and performance of its staff, etc., it's for you to identify the connections and provide the evidence to support your arguments. Remember, if you write without evidence, you shall be penalized for it. You must have evidence to substantiate your claims. Don't just write and say, oh, next does this. Says who, where are you getting that information from? You must provide the citations. Alright? That's my word of encouragement to you. Okay, ladies and gents. I bid you farewell if you have no questions. Make sure that your names you have duly signed on my register made my life easier when I have to park it, that I don't have to go up and down. All right, folks, have a good day, and rest to you. Good. 10 minutes to 3, not so bad. All right, and if you have questions, otherwise, whether dissertation, this, that, or other, you have feel as you go through. All right. Roadblock.
Guys, tap the like button, please. Tap the like button, tap the like button, tap the like button. Yes, I am alone from my birth. I am alone. Hi, bro. How are you? Bro, tap the like button. Today laptop today 7.